Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Zanton, and welcome to today's video for backpack battles. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, we've had a balance patch, so we're going to be talking about that. If you haven't seen these videos before, basically I just go through the balance patch, give my opinions on whether the changes are good, bad, negligible, stuff I wish they would have changed, stuff that I don't know why they changed, and how I think this is going to change the meta. Nothing new added, no new items, so fairly small-ish balance patch though. So yeah, let's go and see what they have changed. So, version 0.99. Not much they're saying here. Another round of adjustments, mostly with the goal of bringing some underutilized items up a bit. I do like that. I'm always a fan of the buff weaker stuff, then nerf really strong stuff, unless said really strong stuff is completely busted and overpowered. Because that's how we get power creep then. So, let's start off with the neutral stuff. What do we have here? We've got quite a bit of stuff. It seems like it's all buffs too. So, got a lot of staff changes here. Serpent Staff, damage +2. Love that. Really big fan of that. Just helps you ramp up the poison that much faster. Really nice for Reaper, in my opinion, too. Ranger, in my opinion, doesn't care about this as much because she could crit right away at the very start of the fight with her luck and her acorn collars, so she had some damage. Reaper, though, had to rely on things like lamps or maybe a curse dagger to get crits, and curse dagger is kind of hard to get as much crit right away as a acorn collar ranger. And the problem with lamp is, well, it's really hard to activate lamps. So yeah, big fan of this. Critwood staff, damage +1. That's kind of just a whatever buff to me. It's like, sure, I guess. Like, Critwood's fine, but this isn't really a big buff, so it's just fine. Spike Staff is getting a buff too. Damage +2. It's a small buff, but I'm not really sure why they're buffing Berserker. I know it's under the neutral items, but Spike Staff is basically a Berserker only item because it needs a Spike Collar. So my problem is, like, I don't think Spike Staff is bad. You don't see it too often, but I feel like you don't see it too often because the other Berserker builds are just better. Busted Blade, Magic Torch Falcon Blade, etc., etc. But it's still fine. Thorn Bloom buff, Empower chance from 30 to 35. I do like this. Feels like a small Ranger buff though, but whatever. I feel like Ranger and maybe Berserker with puppies use Thornbloom the best. I don't think Thornbloom works well at all with Pyromancer. Theoretically, you could play Struggles, Misfortune, Thornbloom, but I'm not sure that's great. I've tried it a couple of times, wasn't very impressed. Next couple of buffs, love them. King Crown and King Goo use less mana. King Crown only needs 10 mana instead of 12 mana. King Goo from 6 mana to 5 mana. Pretty big. I kind of like this because it makes it so non-Reaper classes actually like these now. For Reaper, she's, in my opinion, she doesn't really care about this too much. Here, she likes it, but I feel like Reaper builds that would go King Crown or King Goo had more than enough mana to pay for this, so it's whatever, but especially for King Crown, I feel like this is great for the other classes, like King Crown, Anvil, Berserker, King Goo, Banner, King Pyromancer seems fine too. I haven't tried that out too much, but I've heard some people have tried it out and kind of like it. But yeah, I like this. I like this change. Pandemonium's got another star in it. I don't really know what to think of this. Pandemonium, in my opinion, kind of sucks. It has like one build that it's good in, and that's it, and that is Pyromancer. Pyromancer with Pandemonium and Darksaber and Lantern. It's like, I'd argue that's probably like the top 3 build for Pyromancer, maybe even like their second best build. So, not really sure why they're buffing it. Maybe they want to like just give it another star to let the other classes play it, basically helping out Reaper here. Ruby Egg and Ruby Whelp just are going to get 1 more heat now. Do love this. Used to be they had 2 heat, then 3, and now 4. Big fan of this. Another patch, another vampiric potion buff. Lifesteal from 15 to 17. Still doesn't really fix the problem I have with vampiric potion, and that problem is that it's just too hard to build. It takes a big commitment in terms of items and money. You need to have just a 9 gold blood amulet just sitting in your bag, and that's not worth 9 gold for me personally. Strong vampiric is kind of okay. I'd like that, but it's even then it's still kind of whatever. I like this buff though. Stonehelm buff, block from 20 to 25. A small buff, very small buff, but I do like them buffing defensive items more. I have been of the opinion that defensive items are kind of lacking against offensive items, so it is nice to see them buffing a defensive item. Between this and the previous patch's Stonehelm buff, Stonehelm I actually kind of want to go more and more. My biggest problem with Stonehelm, though, is that I kind of just like the armor potions, the stone skin potions to activate other potions, you know, like put it under a poison potion or something. So that's the biggest problem I have with Stonehelm, just getting enough armor potions. So let's start with the classes, I believe. Yes, we got Pyromancer. 4 changes here. What do we have? Burning Banner nerf. Thank you. I hate Burning Banner so much. I like the concept of it, but I feel like Burning Banner is way, way too strong at the moment. I kind of wish they would nerf it even a little more. 3.2 seconds to 3.4. Kind of wish it was like 3.5, but whatever. Still a pretty good Goobert activator as well, but whatever. Draconic Orb, 3.5 seconds to 3.8 seconds. I think this thing actually used to be like 2 seconds when it first came out. I can't remember, but kind of nice seeing a Draconic Orb nerf. Feels really good. Like, Draconic Orb has always felt really good for its value. Just screwing over random spike stuff while buffing you because, you know, you get heat. And giving you crits, too. So, yeah, like this nerf. Staff of Fire buff. Damage +2. It's whatever. The problem with Staff of Fire, in my opinion, is not that it wasn't doing enough damage. If anything, it does good enough damage. The problem with Staff of Fire, it's also kind of a problem with Unhealing. And that is, it's kind of hard to make and takes a long time to make. At the very least, unlike Unhealing, Staff of Fire scales really hard and does a lot of damage. Unhealing doesn't really scale as well. And, you know, classic patch, Burning Blade damage +1. Sure. Not sure why they keep buffing Burning Blade. I feel like it's good enough already, and they could look at other items for Pyromancer, but sure, why not, I guess. Maybe they're really trying to push dragons more and more with Burning Blade. That's all I can guess. Next up, we got Berserker. Honestly, kind of wish they had done a few more things here with Berserker. Only 1 nerf for Berserker. Shaman Mask cooldown from 3.2 to 3.4 seconds, which is nice. That does hurt Busted Blade. Which I do feel like Busted Blade is probably the second best Berserker build. Wolf Emblem buff. Crit chance from 10 to 12% per pet. It's nice. Maybe we'll see some Busted Blade players play Wolf Emblem over Busted Blade. I still think they would rather go Shaman Mask, but what do I know? Double Axe buff too, making it a little bit faster from 2 seconds to 1.8 seconds. Okay, whatever. Sure. I still think Busted Blade is going to be better, but whatever. But still, as for Berserker, kind of sad they didn't nerf Anvil, Mana Torch, Falcon Blade at all. I don't know how I would nerf it, but maybe they're hoping that some of the buffs to the other classes and the other items will help out. And I guess you could argue they did nerf Dragon Scale Armor in the last patch, which did weaken that build. And they did remove a star, I think, a while ago in Anvil as well, so it doesn't have as many stars. But yeah, Falcon Blade, Mana Torch is really annoying. And next up, we got Ranger. Ranger is making out like a bandit here, it feels like. Hedgehog block from 10 to 15. That's a pretty big number increase. I still don't think Hedgehog is going to be worth it, but it's pretty nice. Also, Rat buff, now 75% chance to poison instead of 70. So a couple of pet buffs is pretty sweet. Maybe we'll see some like Thorn Bloom, Carrot Goo pets going on. I don't think that's a great build, but I think there's potential with that build. Another piercing arrow buff, crit damage bonus from 35 to 40%. A 5 damage percent increase is pretty solid. I like that, alongside the crit wood staff buff. So maybe we'll see some arrow, rapier, crit wood staff again. Bow and arrow buff, cost from 8 gold to 7 gold. Kind of hate this, but I get it. Like, bow and arrow has kind of fallen off a little bit ever since short bows were introduced. Haven't really been seeing too many bow and arrows. I know in lower ranks you still see like the lucky arrow, lucky bow and arrow, belladonna bow and arrow, whatever it's called, with steel goose and mega clovers. I feel like most people have stopped playing that though, because they realize like hero longsword, lucky short bow is better because you get your mega clover online faster. And belladonna whisper is getting buffed, damage to inflict poison from 8 to 7. A little scary, but whatever. Between like the bow and arrow cost reduction and the belladonna whisper buff, maybe we'll see some like dark saber bow stuff, poison ivy from ranger. I could definitely see that. And now, my favorite class, the class that I care about the most, and that of course all of you care about the most, we got Reaper. What's Reaper got? Honestly, some of these I'm not sure about. Misfortune cooldown, 2.3 to 2.1 seconds. I like that. I do like Misfortune. My biggest problem with any Misfortune build is actually just getting the luck. How do you get luck? Blueberries while you have 10 mana? That's a little tough. Deck of cards can give you 2 mana and then Ace of Spades? Sure, I don't hate that. Fancy fencing rapier? Yeah, but that's a godly item. So I do like this. It's a good Goobert activator though. I will give it that. It's a really good Goobert activator now. Snake is also getting buffed here. Gives 40 health instead of 30 health per star. Starred pet. Alongside the extra star last patch. Sure, maybe. I still think Snake is arguably the weakest of the subclass items for Reaper. The devs have said that there are new pets coming out for Reaper in the near future. Something like a frog, maybe. So maybe like some kind of like animal companions or something, like owls, bats, frogs, cats, whatever. So that could be cute. That could actually let you use the stars on Snake more. So I'd like to see that. Next up, we got Demonic Flask, 8 gold to 7 gold. I do like this. I always felt like Demonic Flask was a little too expensive nowadays, so I do like this buff. I'm still doing exactly the same thing, but it is nice. It's a little cheaper. And this buff, I love this buff. Cauldron heal 17 to 20. That's a big heal. It's still Cauldron, but that's a pretty big chunk of health it's healing. With this and Serpent Staff added a while ago, I legitimately think Cauldron is the second best subclass item. I know some people will say you're crazy, streamer. Locklifter is probably the second best. I think everyone will agree Curse Dagger is the best subclass item for Reaper. But I think after Curse Dagger, second best is Cauldron, third best is Locklifter. I just am not a big fan of Locklifter. But I really do think Cauldron with Serpent Staff is really, really powerful. I'll probably record a video on that in the future too. But yeah, that is the entire patch. There's a few fixes as well. Fixed a bug with cloud saves. Lump of coal now benefits from King Crown King Goo. Didn't even know he didn't. Platinum customer cards now affected by Piggy Bank and activates at the start of the battle. Cool. And then some wording improvements and animation when Sun Shield does damage. Very nice. But yeah, that is the entire balance patch. Like I said, fairly short balance patch, but in my opinion, some pretty game-shaking balance changes. Not going to be like a huge meta shift, but I do feel like this helps out some less powerful builds, you know, Cauldron, Ranger pets, etc., get a little bit more power. So I'm a big fan of it. I like the patch too. Feels very good. Hopefully soon, whenever like full release comes out, I believe when they said, I believe they said when full release happens, we're gonna get like 2 new characters and a bunch more items. So I would love to see more items soon-ish, at least like we had last time where we got 5 new items. I'd like to see like another 5 new items or so soon-ish. Give me those Reaper pets. But yes, that will be it for today's video. I'd love to hear your opinion, though. What do you think of this change, this patch? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? What do you love about it? What do you hate about it? What do you wish they had changed? I'd just love to hear your opinion down in the comments below. And if you just enjoyed the video in general, of course, I'd love it if you could leave a like or a comment down below. Always helps me out and always helps out the channel. And if you want to keep up with the Backpack Battles content, you can also go and subscribe to the channel as well. And if you want to watch me play some Backpack Battles, you can go and check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Zeneton, where I stream pretty much every single day. And if you want to talk to me about Backpack Battles or other things and my community, you can go and check me out over on Discord. There's always a pinned comment with a link to my Discord down below. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all again once more for watching this video. And until I see you guys in the next one, bye.